Welcome to this explainer. Forget what you think you know about heat waves. They don't just make you sweat. They are literally melting our global wealth. It's happening right under our noses, and it's costing us absolutely billions. Let's start with a massive misconception. When extreme heat hits, what do you think of? Dead crops, right? Or maybe just a miserable commute? Well, prepare for a reality check. The truth is far, far worse. You'd be wrong. Here is the brutal data. A tiny 1-degree rise in temperature, it silently vaporizes up to 3% of a district's entire manufacturing GDP. Just one single degree. 3% of the wealth, completely wiped out. Section 1. The silent wealth killer. Look at this chain reaction. It's ruthless. First, the thermometer spikes. Next, the human body just fails under the heat stress. Because of that, factory output tanks. And the result? The entire national economy shrinks. It's a direct biological link. Section 2. Sweat, tears, and data. Let's zoom in on the actual factory floor. See this data? Once temperatures cross 35 degrees Celsius, worker efficiency doesn't just dip a little. It falls off a cliff. Garment and weaving output completely collapses. We compared 3 distinct environments: steel, garment, and weaving. The takeaway is incredibly clear. If you don't cool the building, every hot day literally costs you money. The steel plant with AC, 0 drop. The uncooled weaving plant took a massive direct hit. So here is the real kicker. Heat strikes twice. First, it physically slows workers down on the assembly line, but the second hit is worse. It forces them to just stay home entirely. Absenteeism absolutely skyrockets. Section 3. The air conditioning myth. Now you're probably thinking, just put in AC, right? Magic fix. Well, prepare for another face-slapping reality. Putting AC in the factory stops the productivity drop on the floor. But it does absolutely nothing to fix the absenteeism crisis. Nothing. Why? Because even with a cool factory, workers are still getting crushed by the heat. Their homes are boiling. Their commutes are exhausting. They physically cannot make it into work. The factory AC doesn't matter if you can't even get there. The numbers here reveal a really desperate situation. During a heat wave, workers only stay home to rest if they have paid leave. If it's unpaid, the absences barely change. Think about that. They are forcing themselves to work in the boiling heat just to avoid starvation. Section 4. Stealing the national GDP. Let's look at the big picture with this massive 15-year study of factories. Sure, this tracks traditional human labor and doesn't account for how future AI might adapt, but right now, the numbers are bulletproof. Warming every single day by just 1 degree causes annual planned output to crash by over 2%. Heat is basically a massive invisible tax. It's stealthily draining the absolute lifeblood of manufacturing, and the numbers prove this is entirely driven by failing human bodies, not broken machines. See how perfectly this disaster lines up? The individual worker's output drops 3%, the overall plant drops 2.1%, and boom, the entire district GDP crashes by 3%. The whole economic collapse traces right back to one sweating worker. For years, we blamed dying crops for bad economies in hot years. We were wrong. This proves it. Human heat stress inside factories is the real, silent anchor dragging down national wealth. These local factory losses are so gigantic that they explain the terrifying global drops we see. The global manufacturing slowdown isn't some complex mystery. It is literally written in the sweat on the factory floor. Section 5. The cruel adaptation game. Look at this chart. It is shocking. India is one of the absolute hottest countries on Earth. Yet, their demand for commercial AC is just 10% of China's and a microscopic 3% of the US. They simply are not cooling their factories. And when companies do buy AC, it's purely a calculated investment. Look at the diamond industry. They only pump AC into the rooms for the most profitable, high-value tasks, like diamond grading. The manual laborers doing the low-value stuff left to sweat it out. The conclusion is cold and brutal. Climate adaptation is not about human comfort. It's a calculated math equation. Only the highest ROI processes get to survive the heat. It is literally survival of the most profitable. I want to leave you with this final thought from our explainer today. Global temperatures are rising fast. If the harsh math says businesses won't or just can't afford to cool the factories, who's really going to pay the ultimate